Are you frustrated with your friendships? Are you expecting too much from your friends? Are you being a good friend? Or do you feel rejected by your friends? Welcome to From the Canopy, a podcast series devoted to guiding you through emotional healing. This is a space for slowing down and looking at life from a little higher up as we ascend your tree to the canopy, where the air feels calmer and the perspectives start to open. So settle in, take a breath, and let's see what the view looks like today from the canopy. In this episode, we're going to talk about the different stages of friendships, what our expectations should be at each level of that friendship, what are some of the appropriate behaviors and boundaries we should expect at each. We're going to talk about what are the green flags and what are the red flags to look for to know whether or not you need to completely get rid of the friendship or to either promote them or demote them to a different stage. What about taking it from a friendship to a relationship? We're also going to talk about when you cross the sex boundary. And what about maintaining those friendships while in relationships? These are some of the topics we're going to cover in today's episode. All right, so you're meeting people in your life, and you need to kind of have a way of handling how you want to bring them into your life. You're not going to immediately make them your best friend the same moment you meet them. You need to get to know them. You need to figure out what their integrity is. You need to know how much do we actually have in common. Are they even being themselves, etc. You may even be evaluating them, whether or not you want to date them or not. So let's kind of step through these different stages of getting to know people and figuring out what to kind of expect from them, and whether or not you actually want to seize all contact with them and say, you know what, this person, I don't want them in my life, period, or they're not really a good friend, so I'm going to keep them as an acquaintance. So if we kind of structure the way we look at our friendships in a logical fashion, it might help us to actually appropriately evaluate people at these different stages. So as you meet someone and they come into your life, they're usually going to come in as an acquaintance. There'll be people you recognize from shared spaces through work, through school, through the gym, people you talk to at the bar, people who also have children who play sports with your kids. These are people that you typically just have a nice, polite, general conversation with, but you don't really share any sort of personal connection with them. So you really just evaluate whether they're friendly, whether they're kind, and if they are, sure, maybe you might even consider getting to know them better, see how they work as casual friends. But if they're cold and standoffish, you may just not even want to associate yourself with them. You might even avoid them. So let's say you realize they're friendly and kind, and you're like, maybe they're actually good people I might want to get to know. So you would look at whether you want to promote them up to a casual friend. Now, our casual friends are people that you enjoy spending time with. They're people, you may know them, you may socialize with them in group settings. You may have specific hobbies, people you go skiing with, you go on hikes with, you go out and grab drinks with. You may have just a limited interaction with them from a depth. You're not really getting too deep, but you enjoy the same types of stuff and you can talk about the same things. These relationships aren't really deeply intimate. So green flags to look for at this stage is, are they complimenting? Do they hold general respect for me? Do they hold respect for other people? Do they come across as honest people? And are they fun? So some red flags to look for. These are things that may keep you from even wanting to have them as casual friends and bring them down to an acquaintance. So let's say they complain a lot. They're very dramatic, always talking about their stuff, their personal baggage, whatnot. They may be disrespectful to people around you, and they embarrass you. And you're like, oh my God, I can't stand being around this person. They're humiliating me. They may be people who lie. I know we all experience ghosting. If you have someone you're trying to socialize with and they just completely disappear, or they don't text back in like a reasonable amount of time, and I'm not talking like immediately responding, just completely like having disregard for your disregard for any respect towards you, you may not want to keep them as casual friends. And like, okay, you're just an acquaintance I see around. I'll pass you on the street, say hello, and that's about that. Maybe these people are manipulators. You really don't care to associate them with who you are or with your social life. So from there, let's say they do meet all these green flags, and you might consider getting closer to them. You may consider them as good friends or friends. So these will be friends of mutual support. You'll have shared experiences with them. You may go out and do things together. You'll talk about some depth. You'll develop an emotional connection with them. And your conversations are beyond just shallow or small talk. They're moving beyond pleasantries. So some of the green flags you'll look for are, do they share similar values as me? Are they supportive with some of the things I'm going through in my life? Are they not judging me for that? Is there balanced effort in this friendship? Are they putting as just much effort to socialize with me as I am with them? Is their communication with you empathetic? Are they actively listening? Do they pay attention to things you say, or does it seem like they're not even paying attention to what you're talking about? Are they dependable? If they say they're going to do something, do they follow through with it, or do they constantly last minute bail on you? And are they holding themselves accountable to their behaviors? When they mess up, are they like, shit, I should have called you back. I apologize for not getting back to you. I was just so busy doing this and all these other things. That's great. That's showing respect for you and showing accountability for their behaviors. To acknowledge, like, I'm not showing up as well as I'd like to, but you mean something to me. I'm going to put the effort in. Red flags are, they don't respect your time. They're constantly showing up late. We're talking like half hour late, and you're sitting there waiting for them. They bail last minute, so all week you're expecting you're going to be hanging out with them, and then they just either stand you up or don't even communicate until last minute that, oh, I can't do this. If there's not any effort being made in the friendship, they're not trying to hang out, you're always asking to hang out, they always have some sort of excuse. They're more concerned about themselves. They're confrontational with you, and they don't hold themselves accountable. These are red flags. You may want to consider moving them back down to casual friends, or if it's pretty severe, acquaintance. Seeing them on the street, wave to them. Let's say they're really good friends. You've been good friends for some time. You've developed some trust. You may want to consider them being really close friends. So when they're close friends, there's some vulnerabilities. You share things about yourself that you not normally would with other people. There'll be some emotional intimacy. You really feel like you're able to be your true authentic self. You can be a goofball. You can embarrass yourself, and they'll laugh alongside of you. These are friends that you feel safe with. And you can go to them asking them for advice and feel like you're going to get an honest answer from them. So the green flags to look for are openness. Are they willing to be open with you on themselves, share what's going on in their minds? Are they able to be authentic with you? Are they consistent with the things they're saying in their friendships? They're not angry one day and happy the next, and it's like kind of like walking on eggshells. Are they accepting of your choices in life? Or if everyone's going to have conflicts. When you have these conflicts, is it met with a willingness to resolve the conflict? Are they willing to listen, to hear your side of it, to respect your boundaries, respect your needs? Are they loyal to you? Do you know that they'll have your back? You know that they're not going to talk crap about you when you're not around. So some red flags to look out for is, especially around conflicts, is, are they willing to show up to the table to resolve conflicts when, and I say when, not if, when conflicts arise? Are they willing to work with you to resolve the conflicts? Or are they just fucking tossing you out? Are they constantly crossing your boundaries? Have you communicated to them in a healthy fashion what your boundaries are? And are they respecting those boundaries? So boundaries being like, hey, I don't like the silent treatment. If you have a problem with me, come to me. And if you give me the silent treatment, I'm going to pull back. So if they're continually giving you that silent treatment, you're going to pull back and you're going to not be as close of friends. You may bring them down to just a casual friend or an acquaintance. So at this stage, if this friend is a member of the opposite sex or of the sex that you're attracted to, this is the point at which you really need to make a decision whether or not you want to date this person or not. So this is what I call the dating decision boundary. And then finally, at the very top of this pyramid is what we'll call the best friends. This is where the bond is completely unbreakable. They're like family to you. They have unwavering support. You've shared memories together. They're probably the friends you've been with for the longest time. There's usually some sacrifice going on in these friendships. They're willing to do what they need to do to help in a reasonable way meet your needs. If you reached out in the event of emergency or you really needed some support, they'll drop everything for you to be there for you. There's usually a sense of love in this relationship, a platonic love. And then you'll share a desire for that lifetime connection. So like you guys could like drift apart as life happens, but you can kind of come back together and like the connection's still there, even if you've gone 5 years without seeing or talking to each other. So it's like a brotherhood or a sisterhood. Again, they're like family to you. So at this stage, this is where I call the opposite sex boundary. So if you're in a relationship with another person, there's some special care that you need to have in that relationship with this best friend. You can't just kind of keep them hidden or separate. It needs to, we'll get into a little bit of ways that I suggest how to manage having best friends, especially best friends of the opposite sex, while you're in a relationship with someone else. So let's take a look at that. So this friendship growth, ideally, like when you form a relationship with someone, you're going to want to is kind of take that same approach. A lot of the problems that we have is this sex boundary. At anywhere along this stage, if you cross that boundary of having sex with someone, there's going to be complications potentially. So like if there's an acquaintance you have and you hook up with them, well, those are one-night stands. If you've got that casual friend and you have sex with them, now you got friends with benefits. if you're good friends with them and you have sex with them, you're kind of in the early stages of dating. So you're going to start wanting to implement some of those evaluations for having a healthy relationship that we'll cover in another episode. And it's really a good point to really decide, do I want to date this person? And if not, then you might want to consider stop having sex with them, because it will complicate things and you'll end up ruining the friendship. If you go beyond and you're in the close friends, you're really close friends, you feel emotionally connected and safe with them, and you cross the friend boundary, you are essentially in an exclusive relationship. You probably should just be with that one person. Likewise, if they're your best friend and you're having sex with them, you're likely in a loving and intimate relationship. So my point of view for how I consider my dating life, and in the past I have not followed this, the early stages of dating. So if you're with, for the first 2 months, you're hanging out with them like they're good friends and you're getting to know them and you're trying to see if you can get more closeness out of them. So once you start passing the 2 to 3 month mark, you really got to start considering exclusivity. Anything beyond this, you're in a situationship and it gets fucked up. Stay away from situationships. So after 2 to 6 months of dating and you're close and you're hanging out, bonding as if you were close friends, by the time you pass the 6 month mark, you should really know whether or not you're in love with them. And if you're in love with them, then you start going up into the loving and intimate relationships. So beyond 6 months, you're like best friends. You're spending a lot of time together. You're seeing the good, the bad, but you're working through shit. That is a healthy romantic relationship. And then I think after about a year of dating somebody, if you can't see yourself, especially at the ages as you get older, we don't have time to waste. If after a year you don't see yourself marrying this person, have an open conversation and have a respectful split. You can have healthy breakups, and we'll talk about breakups in another episode, but you can have healthy breakups with people without the toxicity that we experience by holding on to something that was never meant to go beyond any of these stages. If you're with someone beyond 6 months to a year and you don't feel like they're your best friend, consider getting out of it or fixing it, trying to resolve it. So, yeah, that's really what I have to say about that. Friendships and relationships can get pretty complicated if you don't mutually follow this course of action together. So, and one of the things, these arrows that I have going in between, this is important. If you're in a relationship with someone and you're intimately involved and there's some connection, there's love there, and you've got close friends of the opposite sex, don't hide them. Introduce your significant other to that friend. Let them put a face to it. Let them see what the friendship is like, and you'll help alleviate some of the conflict. And if conflict comes from it, then that's data for you to decide that maybe this person I'm dating is too jealous and they're not able to respect that I've got some close friends. I think it's okay to be in a relationship and have close friends of the opposite sex, but the same types of, you can't kind of separate them out. You got to you can't let your significant other feel left out because you've got this close friend. You can't feel like every time you've got you have a conflict, you go running to them and grabbing dinner or drinks with them. You need to put yourself in your partner's shoes and think about generalized respect. It's as simple as that. If you can't see that, you lack empathy. Now, if you have a best friend of the opposite sex and you guys have decided you never wanted to date and you're in this relationship with someone else, now it takes even more effort. It's probably, it can't be more of just an introduction. It's got to be one of those things where your significant, like this best friend that you have, kind of gets brought into the relationship to some extent, meaning they become friends with your significant other as well. It's not just, a friendship that this one partner's having friends with this close friendship with this person, but it's completely separate with this one. Like there's no friendship with the significant other. It needs to be like worked upon. Like work needs to happen with all three parties. Otherwise, that best friend needs to get demoted down to the close friends. So that's just my feeling of how to be respectful when you're in an intimate relationship.